So, April, now we're going to get into the juicy pineapple questions as to how associates in our program can actually be a pineapple in their industry and really set themselves apart. What is your advice from what you have seen with your experience with ProDent Search?
Yeah, I would say, to keep it short and some advice to give would be always be open to a conversation about your next possible career move.
Mm-hmm.
And also be okay with, opportunities that maybe aren't in a big city that, you had your eye on. There's something to be said about being, big fish in a small pond.
Right. And can I get you to clarify what you mean by big fish in a small pond?
Absolutely. Maybe a suburb of a city or just a little bit of a drive outside of a city, you're going to get exposed to, a great patient base, build some great rapport with patients, and also be able to take on some different skills at a practice that's maybe just a bit outside of the city where there's, places that you can refer for certain procedures, but maybe you can take them on in a practice.
Right. So a lot of times if they're in a big city and they're trying to go into one of these really high-end practices, they may not get exactly the kind of work that they're looking for, is what you've seen?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. And then what pineapple juicy information do you have for owners out there from what you've seen with ProDent Search?
Well, I create not only a patient-centric practice, but also employee-centric practice. So are you an employer of choice? If you were an associate and you walked in for an interview, take a look around. Would you be wowed when you came in? And, look at your doctor's face. I know that certainly we try and keep things tidy where patients see, but that got to make sure you're taking care of associates too and giving them a space to be in the doctor's lounge. I like to refer to it as opposed to doctor's office.
Okay. And with those owners, if they're trying to say there's a really great associate out there that they're competing for, which I'm sure happens in this space, what can they do to try and get that competitive edge when it comes to hiring an associate who is very, very coveted?
Yeah, I think being transparent and open with them and opening that dialogue to what they're looking for and seeing and being honest and not in a way that you're offering it just to get the associate, but are you committing to something that you actually can provide to them, whether it's sometimes there's a buy-in possibility if you do have that plan. Mm-hmm. Sometimes it's I can mentor you in these type of skills, but be open to that conversation, but also when you're committing to it, make sure that you can uphold that and stick to it.
So if an associate shows up for an interview, how should they be presenting themselves? Because I know that when I had associates come to interview with me, it was sometimes ridiculous how they showed up. I would have people show up in a hoodie and Bermuda shorts and flip-flops, hair like they just got out of bed, they didn't even brush it. And then if I ended up having to hire that associate because I needed someone, then they would show up with their scrubs looking like they had been balled up in the corner for weeks and just unrolled and put on, and it was kind of ridiculous how some people presented themselves. So what advice do you have for people to really, again, set themselves apart when it comes to that interview process?
Yeah, absolutely. Not only dress to impress for your interview, which is very important to come in.
And what do you mean by dress to impress? Can you clarify what the standard is for that?
I would say business professional.
Okay.
The dental space is a business, mm-hmm. and also you set the tone as dental practice. As the dentist, patients look to you. They want to look to somebody who looks presentable, who's well dressed. Mm-hmm. They look to you for advice. The team looks to you. Set the tone at the office as well, and take that leadership role. And I always find when you're dressed, business professional, you just feel better and things come across really well.
Yes, it's true. I know when I'm standing in high heels, I feel like I have more power than if I'm in flats or flip-flops. No flip-flops.
Flip-flops.
Like seriously embarrassed for these people that showed up looking like this, but it happens. And it wasn't just the one person who showed up like that. I had probably 3 people out of 6 show up extremely casual for their interviews, and it was shocking to me because I always wore a pinstripe suit, high heels, my hair was done, nice makeup, and made sure that I looked like a business person when I walked in, not showing up in scrubs,
That's great advice. Yeah, absolutely. And it kind of comes back to when you said you hired them because you were in a spot that you had to hire them, and that's sort of goes back to my, let's have a conversation today, mm-hmm. so that you're not in that situation. Let me know what a great associate looks like. in your practice. And I'm happy to always, reach out and say, I spoke with this person, they're looking for an opportunity, whether you're hiring or not. It's nice to be able to be reached out to with those and then not be in that situation where you're hiring flip-flops.
That's what we're going to call them from now on. We're calling you flip-flops. I love that so much. Well, April, it has been an absolute pleasure having you in the pink seat today for our Ask the Expert series. Where can people get in touch with you now if they are seeing that this is a service that would be beneficial for them? What is the website they should go to?
So it's prodentsearch.com, or you can look me up on LinkedIn, April Dojcak.
Perfect. And I will make sure that information flashes across the screen as well so that people can find that. But thank you again for your time. It has been a pleasure, and I look forward to speaking with you again very soon.
Thank you very much. I really enjoyed it.
Great. Have a good day.
You too.
Okay. Bye.
Bye.